What?
Hi there, I'm Stephanie Fox here with Michael Askew. It's another edition of Does It Bite? How's it going today?
Awesome. How about yourself?
Good.
Cool.
Ooh, it's getting hot outside, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know.
And when the heat comes, it also brings with it pests, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
All right, so
That's right.
today we're going to diverge a little bit also.
Okay.
So I learned something new. What Bug Tech mostly does is structural pest management.
Right.
But we're going to talk about ornamental pest management today.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So
Did I get that right?
Lawn and ornamental, or some L&O here. That's what we're doing.
L&O, is that
Got
what
it.
it's called?
That's what we call it in the business.
I love it.
L&O.
I love it. Some
Yeah.
L&O.
Yeah.
I'm in the know with the L&O.
Right.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I know. It's
mean,
all
that's
right.
That's who we are.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that because as a homeowner, we spend a lot of time in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of pride in what the front yard looks like. Some of us like to plant gardens in the summer or really nurture some flowers and beds. So what are some common pests that homeowners are going to encounter and how do we deal with that?
Oh, yeah. So, just talking about the L&O,
Okay.
You do have to license. You have to have a license for that.
Okay.
So, which we do. So
Okay.
we do have a license for L&O.
Okay.
So the things that we're
L&O.
finding most that we're dealing with in like gardens and
Yeah.
things like that. So, it's snails, it's like worms,
Grasshoppers, aphids, yeah.
all that fun stuff, and we have some caterpillars and the worms that are coming to the garden.
Yeah, we had a
and things like
grub
that.
problem years ago, and it took forever.
Oh yeah, so now
to
you're
try to
talking
get
about
rid of 'em.
grasses.
Yeah.
So now you're
That's
talking
a
about
whole
the lawn.
nother thing.
Well, actually, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So it's almost like a coin.
Okay.
So you have the lawn side,
Okay.
and then you have the ornamental side, which
All
is some of
right.
the gardens and
Gotcha.
the shrub side, and
Had
then
no
you have
idea.
the grasses. Yeah. So grubs, believe it or not, are babies. They're actually babies.
Okay.
So what happens is that the babies are underneath the ground, and they chew on the roots of the grasses.
Yeah.
So when you have these little brown spots throughout your yard, that's a grub problem.
Gotcha.
And one of the biggest ways you know you have a grub problem, because in June, you get this little bug called the June bug. And
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, and that's the grub in an adult form. So if you have a
Interesting.
major June bug problem, you probably have grubs.
Gosh, I had no idea, Michael. I
Yeah.
love this. I learn
Yeah.
something new every time. No
That's
matter
what
how
I'm
much
here
I
for.
research and think I'm going to know all the ways you're going to answer, you
Yeah.
surprise me every time.
That's just who I am.
I know. I love it. I love it. Well, let's talk about gardens and garden pests and some ways that are safe to treat that.
If you enjoyed this episode of Does It Bite, please remember to like and subscribe. Oh yeah, so there's a whole bunch of different ways. When it comes to your garden,
Yeah.
you always kind of want to protect it a little bit. So
Sure.
it's not all about pumping chemical out. It's not all
Okay.
about that. It's
Yeah,
part
because
of the
I don't want to
IPL.
eat a tomato that you've sprayed all summer long.
Exactly. So, there's a lot of folks out there who know how to plant like different plants that will
Okay.
help protect your garden,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
are, insect resistant.
Okay.
And, they'll push away insects because insects don't like them.
That's called good garden hygiene.
Yeah, because I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible gardener. I don't have a green thumb. We're planting green beans, and I think one of them took off.
That's funny.
Yeah, we planted a lot, so it's just like one of them. So I don't have a green thumb at all, so I wouldn't know any of that stuff. But I know there's like Facebook pages that are like garden specific
Sure.
that could help folks out and what to plant. And also there's like bugs that are also beneficial
Okay.
to gardens.
Yeah.
There are some folks who use ladybugs
Okay.
as their pest control for their garden.
I'd never heard of that either.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah,
I mean,
I love it.
It's the way how God created everything to work together.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing, when you think about it.
So I love that because, we talk a lot about and joke about that you go out all day and you're killing things.
Yeah.
And you do use chemicals, you use them wisely and safely.
Right.
But really, when you talk about nature, everything is about balance,
Right.
isn't it?
That's right.
So can you talk just a little bit about how you and your team are aware aware of beneficial bugs and how you're aware of children and pets and how you manage a chemical application and keeping people safe with not destroying the ecosystem, basically.
Yeah, that's right. So it's very important. We've always talked about, customized pest control.
Right.
So you just can't go in there and just spray everything down and
Right.
think you're going to handle everything.
Right.
We have to go in and assess the situation. And there's people who have gardens and they love their garden. So we're always going to make sure that we're conscious of that fact.
Right.
So where we're going after, especially like mosquitoes, we're going after mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are, a pest.
Sure.
But bees are not when it comes to the garden.
And they're protected too.
And they're protected.
Yeah.
So when we do our pest control, we want to make sure that we are conscious of the fact that there might be some pollinators there. And there might be like butterflies and different things like that. So we don't want to target those guys.
Right.
They're helping our economy. I'm not our economy. Our the way that we live,
Sure.
our world, how it works, how it moves. So we want to make sure that we take care of that stuff.
Right.
We don't want to just go in there and start spraying everything and
Sure.
then kill off all these beneficials that help us live our lives. So we always want to be conscious of that fact. So when my guys are going in, they're going to see a garden right there. They're going to be like, okay, don't want to come near that.
Okay.
Let's focus over here. Let's focus over here. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's all customized. So
Gotcha.
when they're looking at this, they want to make sure that the customer sees and knows that we are taking care of them and the stuff that they love.
I love that. I love that. What else do we need to know about summertime pests in the yard, and what other advice can you give us?
Oh, yeah. So when it comes to the summertime, we're going to see a lot more things in your backyard.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot more things in your front yard. Wherever you want to hang out, we're going to be looking at ticks, fleas. There's one ornamental pest, a lawn pest that's really big right now. It's called a springtail.
Okay, I've never heard of this,
Yes.
so I'm all ears.
Yes, a springtail is, if you ever walk through a yard, probably, 8, 9 o'clock when the sun's going down and you see these little things jumping out of the yard, you don't think much of it, but they kind of sting you a little bit. Those are what we call springtails.
Okay.
Because the way that they jump is that they crouch down and they kind of pinch your skin a little bit and then they jump. So that's why it feels like they're stinging you, but they're really not. So springtails really show up when there's a lot of water.
Okay.
So a lot of new construction where they're really watering the sod, or someone who has a really pretty yard that they're always constantly watering. So fungus develops at the bottom of the grass,
Okay.
and those springtails eat that fungus.
Interesting.
So we see that a lot, and those springtails can actually start invading the home as well. But they don't live long inside the home; they just become a really big nuisance.
Okay.
So taking care of the yard, taking care of the garden is always big importance when it comes into the summertime.
I love it, and really good advice too for those of us who are also DIYers, just to be careful about chemical application and really call in a professional.
I would.
Okay. Thanks, Michael. That's another edition of Does It Bite? And we hope that it doesn't bite this summer
Right.
too badly as you spend time in your yard. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
What?
If you enjoyed this episode, check out more Does It Bite?